Okay, so you know how sometimes it feels like our emotions are just totally running the show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, today we're diving into some sources you sent on cognitive flexibility.
Okay.
And basically, it's all about understanding how our thoughts and feelings are totally intertwined.
Right.
And I think the goal here is to give you some tools to kind of wrangle those thoughts and feel a little more in control.
Yeah, exactly. It's like learning to work with your thoughts instead of, constantly battling against them.
Totally. So to kick things off, your sources really highlight how much power our thoughts have over our emotions.
Right.
Like it's not just random noise up there.
Mm.
Our thoughts actually shape how we feel.
Yeah.
So picture this, you're, getting to know someone new
Okay.
and you reach out, but they don't get back to you right away.
Uh-huh.
One way to think about it is, oh no, they're not interested.
Yeah.
But that thought, like, instantly sends you into this spiral of, disappointment and rejection.
Absolutely.
But what if instead you thought, they're probably just slammed at work right now.
Right.
Totally different vibe, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And what's so interesting is how easy it is to get stuck in that initial interpretation.
Yeah.
Like you said, if you're already feeling kind of down, you're way more likely to default to that negative explanation.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy almost.
Absolutely.
Now, have you ever noticed how just one thought can totally hijack your mood?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
And then later you realize it wasn't even accurate?
Ugh, it's the worst.
So your sources talk about these things called automatic thoughts.
Okay.
These are the thoughts that just pop into our heads like lightning fast.
Right.
It's like seeing an image that could have multiple interpretations, but your brain just instantly settles on one.
Yeah.
And this can be helpful, if it's a warning sign that keeps you safe,
Uh-huh.
but it can be a real bummer if we're constantly jumping to the worst case scenario.
I see.
So that brings us to thinking traps.
Thinking traps.
Yeah, it's like our brain takes these mental shortcuts, but they tend to lead us down a pretty negative path. And two of the big ones they talk about are jumping to conclusions and thinking the worst.
Got it.
So jumping to conclusions is like you decide something's true without really having the evidence to back it up,
Oh, yeah.
like ignoring all the other possibilities.
Right.
They have this great example. Someone's having a panic attack and their first thought is, oh my gosh, I'm having a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
Even though there's like no medical reason to think that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you're feeling down and you just assume the whole day is going to be awful.
Yeah.
No chance for things to turn around.
Right. Right.
And then thinking the worst, well, that's like you automatically picture the most horrible outcome.
Uh-huh.
And you're convinced you won't be able to handle it.
Okay.
It's like if someone's invited to a party and they immediately imagine themselves being totally rejected and feeling completely crushed.
Yeah.
Or the holidays are coming up and they just dread all the potential triggers and assume they won't be able to cope.
Right. Yeah, I can see that.
So the first step is recognizing when you're falling into these thinking traps,
Okay.
because that awareness gives you the power to question those initial reactions.
So how do we actually do that? Like, how do we get out of those traps?
Well, that's where cognitive flexibility comes in.
Cognitive flexibility.
Yeah, it's like instead of taking those negative automatic thoughts as gospel,
Okay.
you start to see them as just one possibility, one interpretation among
Yeah.
many.
Interesting.
And the sources have all these helpful questions you can ask yourself.
Like what?
Well, one is, do I actually know for sure that this negative thought is going to happen or that it's even true? Another one is, what evidence do I have that supports this thought and what evidence contradicts it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like
okay.
putting your thoughts on trial.
Right.
Are they really holding up under scrutiny?
I like that.
And another good one is, are there any other possible ways to look at this situation?
Yeah.
It's about opening up your perspective,
Yeah.
And then there's, even if this negative thought did turn out to be true, could I actually cope with it?
That's a good one.
Because often we assume the worst. But when we really think about it, we've handled tough stuff before.
Yeah, we're more resilient than we think.
Exactly. So let's go back to that party example.
Okay.
Instead of automatically assuming rejection,
Right.
you could ask yourself, do I really know for sure that I'll be rejected?
Mm-hmm.
What evidence is there?
Yeah.
Maybe people will be super welcoming even if I'm not the life of the party.
Right.
And even if someone isn't. Have I ever navigated an awkward social situation before?
Yeah, probably.
And, your sources even talk about being flexible in how we think about our emotions themselves.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like instead of thinking, I shouldn't feel anxious,
Mm-hmm.
maybe consider that the anxiety is actually signaling something important to you,
Okay.
or that it's helping you prepare in some way,
Right.
or that feeling sad after a loss is completely natural and healthy.
Yeah, we need to allow ourselves to feel those emotions.
Exactly. And it's amazing how often we judge ourselves for having certain feelings. But, developing flexibility in how we understand and accept our emotions can be so freeing.
I bet.
So basically what we've learned today is that our thoughts have this huge impact on our feelings.
Right.
We can easily fall into these automatic and negative thinking patterns. But cognitive flexibility gives us all these awesome tools to explore alternative and more helpful perspectives.
Exactly.
It's about creating a more balanced and realistic inner dialogue. So I want you to think about just one situation from this past week that brought up some strong emotions for you.
Okay.
What was that initial thought that popped into your head?
Yeah.
And could there be even just one other way to look at that same situation? Exploring those different angles might just totally shift how you navigate your emotional world.
I love that.
And remember, this is a skill that gets stronger the more you practice it.
Oh.